Hey, how's it going, vinyl community? It's Tone, and I'm here to do something new. And I was thinking back the other day, you can see by the title, first of all, that this is called, and it is going to be a new series, it's called Listening Sessions. So I was thinking back the other day, on the evolvement of the vinyl community and how certain things used to be protocol and how you really don't see it too much anymore. And the main thing was, I remember, 10 years ago, I've only been making videos for about 5 years, but I've been an active participant in the vinyl community as in terms of a commenter, just not a content creator, but in terms of being a commenter for about a decade now. And some of the first, people that I used to watch way back in the day, Chris Basket, Memphis Vinyl Jim and the Misses, who else? Mr. Hall of Fame. I mean, the pioneers. I remember seeing people, when they did videos, the first thing that they would do is before they showed anything new, that they would show what they had been listening to. So here's what I've been listening to, blah, 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 blah. And that was cool. Then they would show things that they picked up. And the vinyl community has turned into a look what I got brand new. And that's only part of what the vinyl community is about. That's not the way it always was. We would just share what we were listening to. Here's what's been on my turntable. Here's what's been in my CD tray. And that was nice. Now it's, I'm going to say in the 95 percentile or more, here's what I picked up. Here's what I just got in. And that's great to show all of your new finds. That's, again, part of what this community is about. But it also used to be about sharing what we were listening to. So I also realized that, if people like to watch a little bit shorter time span of a video, let's face it, everybody wants everybody else to watch our video. Why else do we do it? I mean, if you say anything different than that, you're a liar. You're a total liar. We make videos because we want to share our passion and our love for music and music collecting with other passionate music collectors. No one makes a video and doesn't care if anybody else watches. That's a bunch of crap. We all care if we watch each other's videos. And that's just normal and natural. There's absolutely nothing wrong with that. It's the way it should be. But I think for the sake of shortening the time, we have so many new things to show that people have stopped showing what they've been listening to. For this, I think mostly for the sake of time. So I figured, hey, why not every 2, 3, 4 weeks show what's been laying out on the floor, what I've been listening to over the past week or so that I haven't put back yet. Because like most people, they'll take things out of their library. There's a little stack by your hi-fi system, and you play that and it sits there for a while until you get the energy to put it back and bring out more stuff. So I figured, hey, let's do a series that is that's reoccurring, but not all the time. Just share and show really quickly without being totally descriptive at all, because I know I have a bad habit I love to go into being expository. And just show, this is what I've been listening to. This will get an idea. You get an idea of not only just what people bring into their library and what they like to listen to, but their listening pattern. I have a crazy listening pattern. Mostly everybody already knows that I have a massively eclectic taste for music, and it shows in my collecting. But how we listen to music is totally different. I'm not going to explain this every video, by the way. I'll just keep referencing back to the first video. So this is going to be called Listening Sessions, and it's just a quick show of this is what I've been listening to. So I'm going to show some compact disc albums and some vinyl records, stuff that I've been listening to, so you can see. And it's in no particular order, but this is stuff that's been on and off my turntable, platter, and in and out of CD tray over the past week or two that I just haven't put back. And so let's get going. Quick explanation, if that, and that's it, and just move on. I got into this craving for modern soul folk slash neoclassic soul artist by the name of Lianne LaHavas. I have vinyl records of all three of these albums. These are her 3 full-length albums. This is her first album, Is Your Love Big Enough? Fantastic. This was on None Such. She was strictly on None Such at this point. I think this was like 2012-ish. And then her follow-up album, which to this day I believe is her best album. This album is amazing. It's called Blood. And I had just pulled out the compact discs rather than the vinyl because I was going to just do a whole binge of Lianne La Havas. And I didn't want to have to flip records. So this was fantastic. Blood, I think this is 2015 or something like that. 2000 and I can't find it. Her best album. Fantastic. And then her most recent album, I do have the vinyl. The only other person that showed this album on vinyl has been Jason over at Hackman 377. This is, what is the name of this one? I think this one is just self-titled. Lianne La Havas, I believe. Almost as good as Blood, but I still find Blood to be my favorite. Fantastic artist. I've been listening to, I was going to pull the vinyl out for this, but again, I was doing something. And so I just pulled out the compact disc album. This is Cachito by Orlando Lopez. Orlando Lopez Cachito, more famously known as the bass player for the Buena Vista Social Club. And this is actually on None Such as well. And yeah, unbelievable album. Unbelievable jazz record, infusing, of course, Latin rhythms, Afro-Cuban jazz, and as well, slight tinges of hip-hop put in really creatively. And fantastic jazz record, Cachito by Orlando Lopez. This album is fantastic. Again, I do have this on vinyl too. The vinyl is really hard to find. This is Violence and Monica Martin. And the album is called, what is it? Called Awake and Pretty Much Sober. This album, unreal. Unreal album. Fantastic. Violence is an indie pop / ambient producer. Amazing musician and producer. He's put out quite a few albums under his name. Jason, I forget his real name. Anyway, but he goes also by the alias Violence. Not violence, but violent with an S. Violence. And Monica Martin from the band Fox. Amazing vocalist. He wrote every song on here for her before he even met her and before he even asked her to sing all the music. And once he finally found a contact who knew her, he asked her and she did. And the result is a ridiculously good album. Awake and Pretty Much Sober by Violence and Monica Martin. Moving on to vinyl. Fiesta. Mid-late 70s. Disco-y, but soulful disco funk record. Band is Fiesta. Coincidentally, if you look for this album, 9 times out of 10, you're going to have to take it with the corner cut. This album is flawless. It's beautiful, except for the corner cut, which is clean. It's no big deal. I mean, it's hardly noticeable. But it's really hard to find a copy of this record in the market right now without a corner cut. Fantastic, fantastic mid-late 70s soul disco funk record. Stephen Cohn, early 1970s, I think 73 on Motown, is a wonderful folk artist, Stephen Cohn, or Kahn. I never knew how he would pronounce his last name, Kahn or Cohn, but underrated, underappreciated, underspoken about folk artist from the early 70s, Stephen Cohn, and the album is self-titled, 1973, I think, on Motown. I was listening to the debut by Mr. Hathaway. This is a first pressing, original issue, first pressing. I think it's an A stamper. I searched for a really early stamper. This record sounds unreal. Donny Hathaway, self-titled. Was listening to With All the Talk of Duran Jones in my last 5 Quickies video. Pulled out this. I'm a huge proponent for live albums, massive live album fan. And this live album hasn't really been spoken about. This is Duran Jones Live, Volume 1 on Coal Mine, of course. Dead Ocean's Coal Mine on blue translucent vinyl. Fantastic, fantastic, fantastic live record. In the tradition of live records, I believe I pulled this one out right after that, and that's Frankie Beverly and Maze, live in Los Angeles. Unbelievable show. I've been able to see this band live about 4 or 5 times in my whole life, and one of the best live shows I've ever seen. Frankie Beverly and Maze, fantastic soul funk from the 70s and 80s. You've heard, Joy and Pain, and that's Frankie Beverly and Maze, but, this is, what year is this? Sorry, guys. I want to say this is mid-80s recording. And they do everything from the 70s and early 80s. Fantastic record. Frankie Beverly and Maze live in Los Angeles. Long Lao. This record used to be shown a lot in the vinyl community. Of course, this is a repress. I believe it's a repress. It copies. It mimics the original. I think it mimics the original pressing art-wise. It may just be a reissue, but I believe it's a repress. Long Lao, Dragon Man. Fantastic psychedelic blues rock, psychedelic funk album. Used to be shown a lot in the VC years and years ago. I've had this album for quite a few years. The originals go for crazy money. Fantastic, fantastic record. This record's special to me. This is an album titled Commemorate, and the band is Dirgahayu. I'm going to take this one out real quick. Dirgahayu is a math rock band in the vein of, the Mars Volta. Math rock band from Malaysia. And coincidentally, I was able to pick this up in Malaysia. My brother used to live in Malaysia for work. He lived there for 2.5 years before he moved to India for work. Now he lives here in St. Louis, but Dirgahayu is a fantastic math rock band. Just a brilliant band. Fantastic. If you like the Mars Volta and you have any respect for that band, you will love this band. They've only put out this one full length. This was on Soundscape Records. It came out 2015. I was visiting my brother in Kuala Lumpur, and I got a chance, to look up what the great record shops in the area is. There's a lot. I'm gonna tell you something. If you're a fan of audio cassettes, so many shops in Kuala Lumpur that specialize in audio cassettes. I mean, audio cassette heaven. They love analog cassette tape in Malaysia. Anyway, I found a small shop, fantastic, called Teenage Head Records. And when I was there, it was right after Record Store Day, and this was released for 2015 Record Store Day. Super limited pressing. It is numbered. I think it's numbered. No, it's not numbered. I thought it was. Beautiful record, and I was able to pick it up there in the shop. Soundscape Records, and Soundscape distributes their stuff through Teenage Head Records. So Teenage Head was the only place that you could get this particular one, I think, in Kuala Lumpur. And I was able to pick it up right from the shop. So beautiful, beautiful math rock band. Was talking about my last VCLT video, was talking about African records. Steve Carlson sent me a Blackfoot record. And I was talking about this record. This is Watch Out by Wells Fargo. Fantastic, amazing, amazing record. This was put out by Now and Again, which used to get, talked about a lot too. But this thing is a beautiful, funky rock record from, oh gosh, what country are they from? I think they're from Zimbabwe. Beautiful, beautiful African rock funk record. Perfect. Pulled this out. I was watching a video, and coincidentally, I was watching a video on a bass player, a very famous bass player, probably the world authority on bass technique in the world right now. A Polish bassist by the name of Wojtek Pilachowski. And anybody in Scandinavia has probably heard of Wojtek Pilachowski, or if you're a bass player, I'm sure you've heard of him. The guy is unbelievable. And actually, that's him right there. But I was watching something. He's a friend of mine, and I was watching something on him, and he had mentioned Jaco Pastorius. So I pulled this out. I pulled out the Truth, Liberty, and Soul box set from Resonance Records. This was the Lost Tapes, the Lost New York performance of his last performance ever. And I think it's 3 LPs? And it's fantastic. It's numbered. A beautiful, beautiful, beautiful live performance. The lineup on here is crazy. From Jaco Pastorius, Truth, Liberty, and Soul on Resonance Records. I think that came out like... I showed that, and I was expository about that. I did in my Focus on Record Labels series, the first record label I did was Resonance Records, and I talked about that. Speaking of Monica Martin from Violence and Monica Martin, because I was listening to that, I wanted to hear more of her voice, so I pulled out the Fox album. Folky indie rock band from, I think they're from Wisconsin. Waiting for them to get back together to do another album. She's just been on so many projects. Fox, this is 2014 on Partisan Records. Fox, PHOX, with Monica Martin on lead. Unbelievable record. Great record. Because I pulled out the Dirgahayu record, I started thinking about, for some odd reason, this artist popped into my head. She's Singaporean. And that's Vanessa. I think she's Filipino, living as a Singapore national, I think. This is Vanessa Fernandez. This was a huge hit in the audiophile community a few years back. They're very expensive. They're very hard to get now. This is Use Me, and this is her interpolations of so many different... It's all covers, but covers by... Bill Withers, covers by all kinds of classic soul artists from the 70s. And this is her interpolations of those songs, and she does a fantastic job. And because I love this record so much, I pulled out her other record. This is a 3 LP set. This was her follow-up album, When the Levy Breaks, Vanessa Fernandez. And this is on Groove Note. I think they're both on Groove Note. This is Vanessa Fernandez's interpolations of all Led Zeppelin songs. This is a Led Zeppelin album sung by Vanessa Fernandez, and When the Levy Breaks, 2016 on Groove Note. This sucker is awesome. I still like Use Me better, the first album, the soul one, but she does a fantastic, fantastic job interpolating Led Zeppelin songs. Great album. Mixed or mastered by Bernie Grundman on that one. And last but not least, last night I was had a really good day yesterday, and I'm like, man, I just want to relax and listen to something fun, something that I know by heart that I could just move around and sing around to while I was doing stuff. And I pulled out Off the Wall. Pulled out Michael Jackson Off the Wall, 1979, epic. This is the first pressing of that. I have I have a remaster of it. I have the original Japanese press. I love this album, but man, this album can make anybody feel good. It's just a fantastic record. And that's it. There are more stuff that I could have shown, but I just wanted to kind of get a mix of stuff that I've been listening to the past week or two that I haven't put back yet, and other stuff that I chose not to show was mostly new finds that I'm going to show in upcoming new music update videos, so I didn't want to show that. And that's about it, VC. I appreciate you hanging out with me and checking that out. That's about it. I'll talk to you soon, and God bless. Peace.